So let's talk about Tilopa. Tilopa was an Indian Mahasiddha who had realized the view of Mahamudra and achieved the state of Dorje Chang. Tilopa taught 6 essential instructions regarding the practice of Mahamudra, and these are: don't recall the past, don't invite the future, don't think about the present, don't examine experience, don't try to control your thoughts, and rest just like that. Now on the surface, it would appear that Tilopa was referring to the very same type of meditation that is taught by many modern teachers, such as Eckhart Tolle, who make the claim that all you need to do is rest in the present moment without getting involved in thought, and you will achieve awakening. So if we are to know whether or not Tilopa's instructions are basically the same as Eckhart Tolle's, for example, then we need to look at the methods that Tilopa used to teach his principal student Naropa. And there is no better place to find these instructions than in Naropa's own life story. Now, in his account of liberation, we find that Naropa had to endure 12 great austerities in order to realize the true nature. First, Tilopa suggested that Naropa should jump from the top of a very tall tower. And because Naropa had unshakable faith in his teacher, he did so willingly. And as a result of that, he broke every bone in his body. Naropa was at the point of death, but Tilopa just ignored him and walked away, unconcerned. Second, Tilopa hardened some bamboo splinters in the fire, and then inserted them under Naropa's fingernails. Ugh. That's not very pleasant now, is it? Third, Tilopa hurled Naropa into a pit of fire. Well, it's a good thing Tilopa wasn't teaching in the West, because he'd be spending the rest of his life in jail by now. Fourth, he made Naropa eat human excrement. Now come on! For us, Tilopa is just being cruel to Naropa and abusing him, and he doesn't seem to be doing anything even remotely related to the Dharma. Next, Tilopa asked Naropa to steal the soup from a village banquet. The outraged villagers chased him down and beat him to a pulp. Doesn't sound like something Eckhart Tolle would get one of his students to do, now does it? After that, Tilopa told Naropa to molest the king's bride, in front of the king. So of course the king got his guards to beat Naropa to the brink of death. This is starting to sound like an episode from the Roadrunner and Coyote show. Beep, beep. Then Tilopa got Naropa to kidnap the wife of a powerful minister. Now you can just imagine how that one turned out. Next, Tilopa forced Naropa to take up a wife, even though he was a celibate monk. Then, because he had taken a wife, Tilopa smashed Naropa's genitals to pieces, and he scolded him for giving rise to desire and getting married. Tilopa is just taking the mickey now. I mean, he forced Naropa to get married against his will, right? After that, he made Naropa surrender his wife to the local overlord. Well, Tilopa has moved on from actual physical torture, and now he's trying emotional torment. Next, Tilopa used Naropa as a bridge to cross a putrid swamp full of leeches. Tilopa's just being creative now. He's using Naropa as a plaything. Finally, Tilopa chopped up Naropa's body and offered it as a human sacrifice. Wow, that's a bit heavy. Sorry. My apologies. But even after all this hardship, Naropa still hadn't realized the nature of mind. And in the end, after all his methods had failed, Tilopa said, "Naropa, I've been teaching you all this time, but you still haven't understood anything." Now for us, we can't see how any of this has anything to do with teaching the Dharma, and it doesn't resemble in any way the methods employed by modern teachers like Eckhart Tolle, right? So maybe, just maybe, it is wishful thinking on our part to believe that the essential point of Tilopa's most profound instruction is simply to remain in the present moment. So at this point, Tilopa took a sandal off his foot and slapped Naropa squarely between the eyes. Naropa passed out, and eventually when he came around, his mind had merged with the mind of his teacher, and he had finally realized the true nature of phenomena. So you might wonder why on earth I would bother to tell you this unpleasant little story, because it is quite clear that we can't even comprehend what was going on here between Tilopa and Naropa. or even understand whether this is an actual literal story, or just an esoteric codification of the profound instructions on pointing out the nature of mind. To be honest, I don't expect us to be able to understand the inner meaning of this story, but we should at least be able to see, from this tale about the trials of Naropa, that although it might appear on the surface that these 6 instructions are something that we are able to understand or even practice, there is nothing simple about realizing the true nature of phenomena. What I have here is a single-page leaflet that we give out to newcomers to the retreat center, people who are absolute beginners to meditation. Also, we give these to the children who come to study. The words read, "Do not pursue the past. Do not invite the future. Do not alter the present awareness, but rest naturally and meditate without distraction." Well, these are the ABCs of meditation that absolute beginners need to learn if they want to practice. It just so happens that these instructions apply equally to a beginner as they do to a meditation master. But just like this story of the 12 great austerities of Naropa, we don't understand how these 2 very different levels, that of an absolute beginner and that of a realized master, are related in any way. And because we are lazy and want to avoid all hardship, it's easy to convince ourselves that we can achieve what is a notoriously difficult goal without having to put in any effort. Now, for those in the know, the clue to just why these instructions are uncommon and particular to the Mahamudra tradition lies in the 6th and final instruction that is often deceptively and simply translated as rest. In the Tibetan, the words are, "Leave it just as it is." And the term "just as it is" synonymous with suchness. So one could say, rest in suchness. And that means to rest in the recognition of the true nature of phenomena, or the expanse of the ultimate truth. So it is only logical that if one hasn't realized the ultimate truth, then likewise one won't be able to rest in that. Tilopa was an enlightened master, and that means he had compassion. And so why would he put his student through so much hardship if there was a shortcut or an easy way to do it? If Tilopa was a psychopath or a homicidal maniac, then that means he couldn't have been a Buddha, right? Because a Buddha has conquered all negativities and has perfected all positive qualities. And moreover, a Buddha has love and compassion for all sentient beings who are just like their very own beloved children. A Buddha's only wish is to free all creatures from suffering in the ocean of samsara, and so teaches them the Dharma, and does this to establish them in the citadel of final liberation from the mundane world, that is the unsurpassable state of total enlightenment. May the universe be filled with auspiciousness, and all our mothers, those noble sentient beings, be liberated from suffering. Thank you for your undivided attention, and see you next time.